And that brings us to today's game. We are up to session number 64. And we are playing online today because, well, COVID sucks. And we have online today starting with David. Who's probably still on mute.
Hello, I am David.
Well, considering David's still on mute, I will move it over to Emerist.
Hi, I'm Emrys playing Nasty Stump / Simply Red / in transition to something else, not sure yet.
As well as French Playman in the background.
Yeah, sorry.
Shall I let Playman go?
You can.
Yep, Playman.
And of course, I muted myself. Struggled to unmute myself. Hello, I'm David. I play Farman Gorinov, a human Ethingarian horse lord who never gets to ride horses or fight on top of his horses or use any horse-related abilities because he never gets to be around his horses thanks to those fantastic adventures button. Awfully fond of regular hack and slash, making himself look like a moron, and challenging and being completely undefeated in every single hand-to-hand challenge he's ever been in.
Well, yes, sir. You're the only surviving victor, so of course you succeeded in everything.
Exactly. Completely undefeated.
Okay. Next person up is Jeremy.
Good evening, all. Yes, I'm playing Dimitri Dimitrios, the Teldaran wise man, font of all wisdom, and always willing to help out his fellow man.
And also online tonight we have is
Unmute.
who may be on mute.
Oh, no, sorry, I was just implying the fact that I was going to argue against Dimitri's character description.
It's all good. I was just seeing if we had a Martin available.
Oh, sorry, I didn't hear that bit.
All good.
So I'm playing Wooly Toscobble, a halfling bard, who has a reputation down here for cannibalism, and that's about it, really.
I don't think the halflings ever eat themselves.
Yeah.
I think cannibalism is, in a fantasy setting, is best described by something that eats an intelligent species, because otherwise cannibalism has no real meaning when you can say, but they're not of the same race.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
So I've actually had to errata the cannibalism patronage to say refers to other intelligent species.
Okay.
Which does make cannibalism sound a little nastier than before.
Well, if you're not actually eating halflings, then that's fine.
No, you get to eat everything.
Yeah. That is intelligent.
It's waste not, want not. I'm sure that goes down well in any society.
Yeah.
So
Also, he doesn't eat halflings because halflings don't die.
Well, there's also the fact that it's not worth eating halflings, they're only half there. They don't make a full meal.
that is true.
I think it's a little bit like strawberries and things, though. The smaller it is, the more tasty it is.
So you guys are currently in the adventure called Nightstorm, where you are going after the Blood Brethren, and went to a nation called Shah Japur. No idea if I even pronounce that anywhere close to it. You're in the middle of trying to find the Yamatra for the Emerald River, requiring you to collect a couple of things along the way. You've managed to get the white cobra. Now you've just got to get its fangs, so you can turn it into paste. And then you've got to find a Beggar King and the diagram you need.
Yep.
I believe the diagram is called the diagram of the Yogin, which then allows you to do the yantra of the Emerald River with the help of Chatterjee.
I'm going to try and find a marker or something, I think, to get that. Yeah, sure. Anyway, first we're going to get away with that white copper.
We do. So
Or two.
you currently have bags and snakes, and you have a big giant ghostly snake has risen out of the tree and is looking like it's about to hit everyone. So we get to start tonight with initiative. So it's a good thing that Martin did find his dice.
Yep. And Hippocrates is just flying off with the bag of snakes, has he?
I don't believe he got given the bag of snakes. The unfortunate thing is, his griffin would not be willing to go anywhere near the tree.
Mm-hmm.
Because of the undead nature of it. So, everyone gets to roll an initiative. And it's not a bad thing seeing that I rolled a... So what did everyone else get?
I got 7.
You got a 7?
Dimitri's on 12.
So 7 for Willie. Dimitri on 12. What did Simply Red get?
Is he muted? Yeah, Amherst, you muted.
Maybe he's busy at the moment, then I'll ask someone to roll for Playman because he's currently driving.
16 on the die. I think he gets about a plus 3 or 4, I think.
We'll go with +4.
Because I think he's got a weapon that gives him an extra bonus on initiative. Or in fact, actually, he gets to roll advantage, doesn't
He
he?
does, yes.
I'm still 16.
Back, I had a few issues. Sorry.
That's fine, that's why we moved on. What was your initiative?
16 with my +3.
16. Okay, so apparently Ghost Snake gets to go first. Which I'm sure is not bad at all. So, Ghost Snake throws out its Dark Fury as a bonus action.
Oh, goody.
So, it sends out a necrotic burst from the tree, hitting everyone. So, everyone gets to make a dexterity saving throw.
Oh god, it's pretty quick. Make that for me while I fill out reception.
You got a 6, and I got a 14 plus whatever.
I didn't get it.
I rolled a 6 for you. I'm sorry.
26 for dexterity.
And Dimitri's on 18.
So, apparently only one of you is affected. The person who can't roll for himself.
I need an adult.
So, Playman takes 33 points of necrotic damage.
Ouch.
Which does add up to quite a bit. And
I like that I finally get reception, and the first thing I hear is make a reflex save.
Yeah, did you hear the results of the failure?
I did.
And then it attacks Dimitri with its bite,
Mm-hmm.
hitting an armor class of 17.
17 will hit.
And it does a whole 6 points of piercing damage,
Okay, none of which gets through my arcane ward.
plus 8 points of lightning damage.
Plus what?
8 points of lightning damage.
So it's 14 total.
Yep.
It's still sucked up by the arcane ward.
Okay. So Dimitri, as usual, appears unhurt.
Absolutely. It missed.
Okay, so then it is Playman's turn, as he's been hit by the ghost snake.
Ghost snake, you say?
Yep.
Well.
Oh, he got spat on by the ghost snake.
Plowman's going to place himself 10 feet away from said snake
Yep.
and do a slashing savvy with the glaive.
Okay.
The magical glaive of Dimitri crap.
Of Dimitri Love.
Yeah. Anyway, consider roll a d20.
I think Dimitri should roll Dimitri Love's attack. Roll a
Go ahead.
14.
22 to hit.
22 to hit is a nice hit.
Can you roll 2d10, please, Jeremy?
2d10. A total of 3.
8 damage.
So I believe you get to add your strength to that.
Yeah, he said a total of
8. Okay. It's always amusing when your dice roll less than your actual bonus.
8. God.
And
Actually, when you roll d10,
I'm going to go with the average of one of the dice should be more than your bonus.
And then I believe you get a second attack because you have 2 attacks.
He does?
sorry, save. Yeah.
Second attack is 11 on the dice.
19.
That is also a hit.
Slightly better on the damage this time. Total of 7, so 12 damage.
Still useless, but thank you.
So a total of 10 on 4d10.
Jeremy's rolling high again today. Okay, so Clayman goes in and glaives nicely. Then Simply Red is now up.
Yeah, can I just ask a quick question
You can.
before we continue? Martin,
Yeah.
no, actually, who rolled? Dimitri. So, Jeremy,
Mhm.
how many sides do the dice you have on them? Just want to check.
Well, I was using the triangular ones. They're the ones, aren't they?
Yeah, have you
All right, so the ghost snake is within range of me, right?
It is in range of everyone.
I would like to do 2 attacks. I'm solo. I'm in one hand wielding the trident in one hand, and the other I've got the short sword of the moon you gave me.
Yep.
So I would like to attack with the trident first.
Okay.
And
as you go to swing with the trident sternly reminds you this round that you haven't tried to convert said snake yet.
that's a good point.
So it spends the round scolding you.
Right, okay. So as my 6 words, how do you feel about Proteus? And then my second attack I'll do with the moon sword. How's that sound?
That sounds good.
Alright, so that is a 24.
24 is a hit.
And that is 6 damage. And that's magical but slashing.
That is all good.
Yep, and then I don't think I'll use my action surge thing right now, so I'll behave.
That is all good. Then Dimitri's up.
Now you said this thing actually was a spirit of the tree, didn't you?
It seems to be attached to the tree at the base.
Okay. Dimitri will go for the non-dodging part of the thing, i.e. the tree, with Firebolt.
Okay.
Where am I?
Bolt, not ball, right?
Bolt, yes, bolt.
Yes, just clarify.
I don't want to waste powerful spells on it, jeez.
It was more than I needed to know whether I had to dive out of the way.
So that's a cantrip, isn't it?
Sorry?
That's a
cantrip.
Yep. So you have to do your evocation check to see if you can get it off.
Okay, yes. My +8 is 19.
Definitely
So
works.
fine. And then 18, 24 on the attack roll.
No problems hitting it with the attack roll.
And now I'll see what Dimitri can do with 2d10 on his attack. Oh, what do you know? 17. So 17 plus 3, total of 20 points of fire damage at the tree.
Okay, it seems to scorch nicely. Okay, so that brings us to Willie.
I'll also then use my move action to back away, up basically towards the edge of the people, but giving myself some space between, like, let's say, 5-10 feet away from the winged people. So that if they decide to respond, at least I've got a bit of reaction.
Okay, so as you move back, you seem to step out of its threatening area, and it retaliates to you. And retaliates so well that it gets an armor class of 10.
That would miss. Which obviously the fact that I actually used the bonus disengage and then walked away, so that's why I missed.
Okay, so yes, and then it is Willie's turn.
So I'll be casting Fear.
You cast Fear.
Yep, it gets a Wisdom save.
On the crowd?
Oh, that's a good idea.
Okay, so I think I will point out to Martin that it is an undead creature.
It doesn't say anything about...
And a lot of them have
It's a
immunities.
ghostly spirity type thing, so I've probably got immunities.
A lot of spirits have immunity to a lot of mental effects.
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't mean you can't try it.
But
yeah,
just so you know beforehand, if you wanted to change your action, because you have come across this before with your character.
Oh, okay. Alright. So how much space is around it if I cast Fireball?
There is well, if you center it on the tree, you will hit Playman and the tree,
But not simply red, go for it.
and potentially
How about if I cast it
simply red as well.
beyond- If I cast it beyond the snake.
You'll probably hit some of the other people as well. I'll confirm the radius for you. Where is the radius? Okay. So the copper is staying within about a 50-foot radius of the tree. So the people are outside that, so you can actually hit the tree quite easily without hitting anyone but party members.
And try and avoid killing white coppers as well.
And you could probably land it so it doesn't hit any party member.
Okay, I'll do that.
Okay, so that will be a history check for your character to see if you can pull off your bard spell with a DC of
15.
18.
24 or something, yeah.
24, then it does go off. What is your damage?
The easiest option for your fireball targeting would be aim high. The only person otherwise in danger there might be Sir Clovis.
Well, yeah, as long as I don't get the rest of the party, that would be a good thing.
That would.
That's a plan.
So what did you get with your damage?
28.
28. Okay. Okay, so you seem to burn the tree, but not harm the ghost at all.
Is it resistant to fire, or...?
It didn't seem to affect it at all.
It might be like regular incorporeal, so. But obviously, okay, from the beast's perspective, burn the tree down, you probably kill the spirit.
Well, there's a good chance they are connected because it is currently touching the tree. And then it is Ghost Snake's turn. It tries to recharge its lightning effect and does not. So it attacks, firstly it attacks Simply Red and hits an armor class of 16. Does that hit Simply Red?
I believe that is actually my armor class.
And
Let me take a look. Yeah, armor class 16.
so it hits you for 8 piercing plus 4 lightning.
Yep.
Are you resistant to any of that?
I do not believe so. Well, it does, because I don't get lightning from the trident, do I?
No. And then it also attacks Flamen. And hits an armor class of 19. Which I believe will hit Flamen.
More than likely.
And it does 12 damage to him as well.
Flamen's probably in danger at the present time.
Seeing if that was a Flamen responding to things. No, it was not. Okay, so that brings us to Plamen's turn, who has a plus. Was it plus 8?
Something like that, yep. Is the spirit looking damaged much at all?
Hard to tell.
I'm just wondering whether Plyman does actually stick around to try and continue combating, considering he's in. He wouldn't back down from a fight, would he? Okay.
No.
16, 24,
24 will hit.
and 2d8. Oh, 15 this time.
15.
Total of 19.
Total of 19 is pretty good.
And second attack.
And the snake goes down and
Oh,
disappears.
Wait.
He does manage to strike it down, and I'm just going to put another conversation on mute so they stop sending me stuff during a game.
I'm sure David will be pleased to hear that Plyman struck the killing blow before he went down.
Did Plyman go down?
Not quite.
No.
Looking at his the picture, it looks like he was very close to it.
He's
Okay.
fine.
The venomous breath initially got him by surprise. So,
And there is a big flash of blue light as the tree crumbles to black ash. You see the lifeless staring, the people who were just staring at the tree stand up, looking a bit dazed and confused, as if waking up. Including the guy who told you it was a false god.
So yeah, the guy, the most recent convert,
Yeah.
He recovers, does he?
Yep, he has no memory of what happened after he said he'd climbed the tree.
Well, nah, that's not Dimitri. Well, maybe it is.
As he looks at you and asks what happened, as the crowd starts to dissipate, avoiding eye contact with the party.
The strength of your belief obviously destroyed the profane tree. Well done.
Hey, Dimitri, what are you saying? No, this is not true. Sorry, I just felt like I should do that today.
Stop it!
What do you mean that wasn't, David?
You're racist towards ethic, alright.
Also, Martin, while we're talking, I wish to give all my money to Emerson's character.
Bullshit.
So, knowing Plum, it would be here. Let me put this against your head as I smack it in. One coin.
Oh no! He's going to give all of his money to Simply Red. What do you call yourself now? Simply Red, whatever.
I think Simply Red for the moment.
Or at least all his money worth of arrows. Or in Plumman's case, all his money worth of hand axes.
Give it point first.
I would like a refund.
I'll take it back.
That's right, he'll take it back and then hit you again.
He doesn't do refunds, but he does do exchanges.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we caught one snake, I think, before the spirit appeared, is that right?
You caught two, actually.
Two snakes?
Yeah.
Okay.
So how did Jeremy go salting the earth and destroying everything around our enemy?
Hey, you're the one that cut the killing blow.
Yeah, did you light the tree on fire or what?
Well, the tree disintegrated.
Okay.
One snake died.
Oh, okay.
So,
I just assumed you were lighting fire to the forest and salting the earth.
so just for your amusement, if you attacked the snake with magic and gave it a saving throw, it actually automatically succeeded every saving throw against it.
Alright, so that's why the fireball didn't have much effect.
Yeah. Okay, so yes.
Right, yeah, so...
But the tree itself took extra fire damage.
Right. But yeah, the other aspect, of course, is by burning the tree down, we've taken away the white cobbler's home, so they should be easy to catch.
Okay,
so I would, like I say, Dimitri suggests we're probably worth catching up with many of these white cobblers as we can. We don't know how much paste you can make from one set of fangs.
First question is how are you going to get the cobras out from under the tree, because they all rushed under the tree? And you also have a slight problem of your mongoose has disappeared because Plum put it down when he turned into a flying snake because he couldn't take it with him.
How many snakes are in there?
Aww, the mongoose!
There was around a dozen or something, I think, originally, so that we saw around the tree.
I could take them.
You want to go down the hole by yourself?
I'm tempted. We need a snake head, right?
Well, no, preferably we're looking at whilst technically we only did the fangs, I don't know they've been entirely confident that it's only from dead snakes. We've been attempting to catch them live just so we've got the option, I think, so far.
And plus
have we got into live ones?
Plus you can also trade in the live ones for safe removal of fangs.
Right, so if we had a couple more, it'd be good.
Oh, well, okay, we don't know how many we need, but I'm thinking it'd be better to have more than less.
Okay, can I make some kind of suit where I wrap cloth around, like sleeping bags around me?
You can.
Just around one of my arms.
Okay. Your arm is now wider than your waist.
Right, I would like to slowly edge into the hole and see if I can see any of the snakes.
Okay, do you have dark vision?
Yeah. No.
Then no.
Are there any burning twigs or anything like that still left?
No, it turned to ash. The entire
Turned to
tree
ash,
just
completely.
completely turned to ash.
Okay. Is there any logs or sticks or things like that around?
I have a torch.
It was the only tree anywhere in this vicinity, so it stood out by itself.
I could light my torch.
Well, I was more talking about the idea of the, like I say, rather than trying to go into the hole, we could try and smoke them out and make them come out with smoke. But
There is some grass nearby that you can quite easily smoke them out with.
yeah, so not that I know for certain. Like what Dimitri obviously knows for sure. At least he says he does. As to whether or not smoking out snakes works, but hey, it works for most animals.
It does.
So, so he will attempt to, whilst apparently Simply Red tries to pad up an arm or something type stuff,
Mm-hmm.
Dimitri will try and actually set up a bit of a smoking pot to drift smoke down the hole. So,
Okay, I will give Dimitri a survival roll to set it up.
yeah, Dimitri's Mr. Nature. 15.
Okay, so apparently he does know what he's talking about this time.
See? Always.
As you start setting up a smoking pot to go down into the hole, and so the wind's blowing in the right direction, and everything. You've lined everything up perfect.
Absolutely. And obviously, again, as soon as
You hear Blum grumbling.
as soon as it's going in the right direction, I say, yep, okay, well, okay. Ready with the catching stick? I'll hold the sack for you.
Okay, so snakes start coming out of 3 different holes at the same time.
I've seen that movie.
Snakes out of a hole.
Sure.
Okay, so who's going to try to catch a snake first?
I'm going to try to dive on one.
I believe each of you have a snake stick, or you can try to snake wrangle yourself if you wish to.
Yes.
Because you had 4 sticks.
Yes.
I'm happy
Yes,
to use
but-
it.
Yeah, partner will get a stick. Use the stick a go.
I'd like to dive on one.
Okay, so firstly we'll see Simply Red do the swan dive onto one. As
Yeah, what
he
do I need?
does
Oh,
a
so excited for this.
athletics roll.
Athletics. Oh, yeah.
Come on, give us a 1.
Give us a... So, if I rolled 17 and I have plus 7, what does that mean?
Meaning you beat the snake rolling an 18 with its plus 1 or 2.
Yeah, screw it. I kicked the ass.
Okay, so yes, this snake really put up a big fight, but you basically showed it who's boss.
I stand up and walk over. Now I'm going to really piss this snake off.
So,
Pop it in the bag.
Put your thumb away.
does this mean that you're now Erwin?
That's not a bad name. Yeah, I'll consider that.
Okay, so we have Martin and David doing their roles, which
I got
is
a 20.
Ambrose, can you roll for me, please?
natural
yes,
20
I
there,
can.
Martin. Was that a natural
Is that
20,
me?
Martin?
I'm sorry.
I rolled an 18.
That's okay.
You rolled an 18. Okay, so yes, you easily catch the snake with your snake stick.
David rolled a 1.
Yes.
Hey,
And
he asked for it.
I'm so sorry.
He asked for one.
Playman manages to catch Simply Red's left foot.
At least that he can catch a snake with my face.
And the snake apparently went for you while you were trying to recover your stick. So,
Okay.
He also rolled a one.
no, it rolled a 17.
Oh, shit. I'm sorry.
It's a miss. Actually, let me just make sure, but I'm pretty sure that's a miss. No, it's exactly a hit.
Don't worry, that's before I added the bonus modifier to it, where I stuck my player's handbook.
Yeah, I can tell you where to stick your player's handbook.
It should be, it's not a negative. It can hit.
Yeah. Apparently I hid my monster book somewhere.
That's alright to hit anyway.
Okay. It should be, it's not got a negative to hit.
It's basically
The real question is, what save am I rolling?
that was what I was trying to look up.
In fact, I'm going to guess it's a Constitution save. Martin and Martin Mac, can you roll a d20 for me, please?
Okay.
So you trust me?
15.
Okay, so
I'll take that.
And add your constitution, which is probably at least another couple.
Yeah, I'm just scrolling through to find it.
So you end up taking 2 points of poison damage, which is a successful save.
Yeah. Cool.
So you take 3 points of damage all up, as it only did 1 point with its bite.
And I took 30 before, didn't I?
And then you also took a bit more from a bite and stuff as well. So
You are
you almost did.
You're on 12 out of 75.
22 out of 85. Sorry, Martin, did you catch that?
Yeah, I got
Yep.
that. I just got to fix it in the background. So we've got. Technically, we have 3 caught snakes as Playman caught one with his arm.
That's what I do.
Well, oh, you mean 3 more cork snakes? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, well, just hold them for a moment. I'll get get one, put in the bag, tie it off. Get the other one, put it in the bag, tie it off. Hold out the third bag, and obviously go for Plum and last. So get the snake on the gun.
Well, you only had
You
had 3 bags.
3 damage. He's literally just standing there with all. Sorry, yeah, because Plumman only took damage, literally standing there with an arm, with a snake hanging off his arm. Like, do you think you could maybe get this off, please?
Yeah, I'm getting to it.
Yeah, okay. Such a good little snake. Look at him, he's trying to poison me.
There we go. You got the correct hit points now.
Snake.
Plumman, why do you keep swaying?
Don't listen, don't worry. I'm fine.
He's just pretending to be intrigued so the snake feels at home.
Yes, look at this cute little face. Come on, what a cute little guy.
Okay, well, I'm thinking that 5 snakes is probably going to be enough.
You bag 5 snakes as you watch the other ones seem to rush away.
Yeah.
Oh, come back, little friends.
Hopefully 5 snakes is enough.
Each snake is
Do
about
you want
7
me to
feet
catch
long.
another one? I'm feeling lucky. Yeah, Martin, can I go for another one?
You can. Give me another athletics roll, little Irwin.
Trying to carry
So-
the bag is going to be handy.
On one hand, it's an 8. On the other hand, I rolled a 1 and then added 7.
And they rolled a 20.
I'm not feeling lucky, Martin. Oh,
It's
God,
at that
what's
point that
happened?
they all banded together and dragged you away.
Okay, so you get to make a Constitution saving throw.
Give us another one.
I am going to throw this dice away, and it weighs a lot.
Was it another one?
It was another one.
Yes!
Okay, so apparently you take 26 points of poison damage.
How many?
26.
Sorry, how many?
26.
Oh, 26. I thought you said 80.
No, 26.
Oh, that's fine. Yeah, whatever. It's fine.
And then Dimitri reiterates the fact that we haven't got another bag to put them in.
Yeah, but it bit me now, so it's personal, and I dive back in.
And you also seem to be bleeding from where it bit you quite severely.
Yeah, that's fine.
Plumman looks to Dimitri and just shrugs.
Okay, so you go diving back in again. How bad could it be?
We'll roll again.
Yep.
That's a 20.
Okay, so you managed to grab the snake this time. Safely.
I'll have to whisper in its ear. You're mine, bitch.
But you lose another 4 points from bleeding.
Yeah. Oh, am I still bleeding?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what he said.
Oh.
It was a
Has anyone
critical.
got-
It was
is
a
there
critical
anything like
fumble
hot
with a
and
critical
burning
hit.
around?
Yes, there is some burning leaves.
I'd like to just grab some and shove them on my arm.
Okay.
With the hand holding the snake or the other
No,
hand?
the other hand.
But the other hand's the one that got bit.
Yeah.
Okay, so yes, you grab some of the burning debris and shove it onto your arm.
Mm-hmm.
Managing to give yourself 1 point of burn damage.
And you call
Yep.
yourself a doctor?
Did it stop the bleeding, son?
Apparently, it seems to have stopped the bleeding.
There you go. The doctor will see you now.
Only from a very long way away. So what are you going to do with that one? You going to carry it all the way to the city?
Absolutely.
It's his new friend.
Hey, you know I'm a trained medic, right? You could have just come out and I could have helped. Oh? Okay, good shit.
So yes, Playman on
I
point.
suggest we keep moving on. Back to the city?
It's not too hard to walk to the city from here because you can see it.
Yeah.
You probably could have walked here quite a lot faster if your guide had taken you straight here.
That's right, yes. Hey. And besides, I suspect that the pathway is pretty well flat, marked out by the other 200 or whatever people that have gone back again.
Yeah, and someone seems to have taken the guide with them when they left.
Yep. So, along with his weasel.
You think someone else took the weasel? Considering the guide had gifted it, and apparently
Yes.
someone had gifted it to themselves. So you reach the city quite quickly.
Okay.
And the guards at the gate sort of stare off to the side as you walk up.
Despite Dimitri's obvious intrinsic nobility and piousness, he's not concerned about the slight.
Oh, hello, friend. How are you doing?
Technically, it can also be seen as a the other way around as well.
And that's how Dimitri took it. He took it as deference.
I'd like to just wave the snake and go, say hello to my little friend.
Okay, I thought I was rude. Never mind.
So yes, you wave your white snake around.
Oh god, that just took it to a new level.
Oh wow. I thought he was talking about the cobra, but
Yeah.
oh,
I thought
wow.
so too. But
Wow,
I
he's,
guess, yeah.
Wow. I didn't.
What?
Dimitri, I didn't need to see that today.
Some things
Maybe
you
I'll
can't
have a
unsee.
Yeah, you probably still didn't.
Dimitri's aiming to walk quickly as possible through the crowded streets back to our snake charmer overseer.
Okay, you have no
You know-
problems reaching your snake charmer.
Guys, I can see why they call him Nasty Stump now. That is nasty.
Dimitri specifically walking ahead, not looking back.
And you have no problems reaching the guy. He is fairly easy to get to. because well, he has heard of your work.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm so tempted to take this joke even further, but I'll let it go. Alright.
Okay, so Taya is quite happy to see you.
So is nasty stuff. Oh, god damn it. I'm so sorry.
Man, I'd like to say I don't think he is.
So how may I help you, good sirs? Have you caught your white snake?
Well, you can see the one you hanged there. We've got a few in the bags.
And how many of them are you wishing to sell?
Well, we've got no particular use for them aside from their fangs.
He is happy to give you.
Although apparently, I think my halfling friend's become quite attached to his. So
No, it got attached to me. The other way around.
So he's happy to give you 2 silver per snake, as well as the fangs of each snake.
Yeah. More than happy doing business.
Okay, so he gets his performer to do so. He's quite apt at defanging everything. And it takes him mere moments to snip all the fangs off and hand you 5 sets of fangs and 10 silver.
We're rich now.
Well,
Oh, poor little snake.
according to some, you are exceedingly rich. According to others, you're not.
Yep,
Economy's all different.
absolutely. The well, we thank you for the time. I don't suppose a man of your stature and influence has heard of a beggar king in this city, have you?
You know I haven't, Dimitri. Sorry, Martin.
That's all good. So he looks at Willie and says, I'm surprised one so lowly as your cannibalistic little friend over here would consort with beggar kings.
Well, didn't say we're looking to consort with him. We just wondered if you knew of him.
I have heard of a beggar king who works various places of the city here. Easiest way to find him is to find a beggar.
I can do that.
Because all the beggars seem to work with the beggar king.
Okay, so we are talking a literal interpretation of the title. So, thank you.
And good luck, because from what he hears, not everyone comes out on top when dealing with King of the Beggars.
Well, I'm sure he'd make an exception for one such as I.
I'm sure he would. And he wishes you a good day.
Enjoy your entertainment.
Well,
I
now,
hope they're profitable.
well, now he has 5 very
Genuine
rare
white
items.
snakes. You can save on chalk dust.
Okay, so yes, you have no problems finding beggars. There are beggars everywhere.
Well, I was going to say, probably just the Plumard made friends with all the bigger children, so...
And yes, that there are lots of
No,
kids
just
around.
the children in general. They don't really have the cast until they get to more adult types. So I was told anyway.
So what?
But yeah, so... Well, okay, Dimitri, his first comment would be, so that, yeah, well, okay. Do any of your child friends know where the Beggar King might be found?
Okay, first of all, let's change the phrasing here. I don't need to use the word child friend. Second of all, I'm sure we could probably find one. Plowman thinks back to his new youthful accomplices and tries to think of whether any of them look absolutely dirt poor as opposed to just dirty.
Oh, most of them do look dirt poor.
Fantastic. Let's go find some youthful accomplices.
So yes, you do find that they're not that far away. They've been watching you.
Hello, children! Come!
That they all gather around you expectantly.
Okay, first of all, have you ever seen a bite from a white snake?
That they sort of
A
look
white
at
cobra.
what one of them says. Mum told us to beware of strangers who talk about white snakes.
Yes, not going to acknowledge that I actually said that. Oh, youthful accomplice and definitely not child friend. No, a bite from a white cobra.
A one-eyed
real
cobra?
white cobra.
One-eyed
Shut
cobra.
up. Shut up. A real white cobra. Plumman shows his bite mark on his arm.
There's a lot of oohing and ahhing.
Yes.
Was it subdued
Anyway.
or like engorged and angry at the time?
It was fairly entertained, sort of oohing and ahhing because, well, not everyone likes to show their bites.
Yes. I'm not sure how I can take that the wrong way. Okay. Anyway. Sorry. Is there any apple vendors around again?
Yes, there are quite a few who have moved closer to you since you came back into the street.
Okay, so first of all, that's rude. Go away. You can't take advantage of me. Yes, they're children. Yes, I want to give them food. No, go away. Are there any other fruit vendors that aren't buying my attention?
Yes.
The ones that look nice and or poor.
There is the cabbage man.
Oh, for fuck's sake. Yeah, there's a reason he's poor. He chose the wrong industry. Alright, I'll grab a whole heap of apples and throw them to the kids. And then maybe try and do my best Aladdin impression, find a poor kid. And oh god, this sounds terrible. There is no way I can say this. I literally spent the last 2 minutes trying to think of a way to say I will grab one of the kids and get them to take me away to see their parents. Yep.
To see their king.
There's no good way to say that.
Can I
I know.
can I ask if the children have heard of Proteus?
No, you may not because Plumman throws his as soon as you say Proteus, Plumman throws his shield at you.
Can I catch it?
You can try. I will give you
Catch it between the twines of your fork.
What would that be?
I will give you a reflex saving throw to see if you can catch the shield before it hits you.
Reflex is what?
And
Dexterity?
after
Dexterity saving throw.
Yeah, 22.
Yes, he catches your
after
shield.
you take that reflex, could you potentially get him to make a strength check after that? Because that shield is moving at a rate of knots.
And yes, you also seem to be flat on your back as well.
But I just rolled a 21 on strength.
And I did a roll for David.
I don't like this, but okay.
It even flashed.
I mean, in my opinion, you just caught the frisbee and kept frisbeeing, but
So yes,
yeah,
you-
Plumman.
Either way,
Sorry.
the comment on Proteus was interrupted.
Fair enough.
because you do know what happens
Don't
if
you dare bring that asshole into this. You leave these children alone. Go pick on somebody who actually counts. Not like these kids. They don't count for anything. They're not real people.
Did you just say that in front of them?
Yeah, of course.
You can hear the crunching of apples as the kids happily chew on the food he's providing.
Yeah.
Okay, so what do you wish to ask the kids?
Because everybody.
Whoa.
Hello.
Apparently David went into disappearing zone and just come right back again.
Yes, I did. Yeah, I'm going for that in second place.
So I assume you were asking the kids where the Beggar King is.
Correct.
Okay, so the first kid you ask claims he's never heard of the Beggar King.
I don't really want to coerce the kid through tempting him with food because that seems a little bit creepy.
Here, have some candy. I'm sure there's nothing wrong with that.
Keep asking kids until they can tell me.
You ask another one. Apparently, it also claims never to have heard of the Beggar King. Jeremy, would you like to roll a d20 for the third kid, he asks?
I said I got my good D20, my really good high rolling one always.
Mm-hmm. Roll a 1. 2. Same as me. So apparently that kid also never heard of the Beggar King. Let's try Everest.
Dimitri's going to look around for a adult beggar.
I redeem myself in the eyes of Farman with a 20.
Okay, so while Dimitri's looking for an adult, one of the kid says, yeah, he knows where he is, and he gives you directions to a place in the Artisans' Quarter. And this is the little kid, mind you, that you've been talking to while Playman's off, while Dimitri's off looking for an adult.
Mm-hmm.
And he tells you where you can find the king. So apparently it is not too hard to find him in the Artisans' Quarters.
Okay. Do they catch up with Dimitri before he finds someone, or?
They catch up with you as you're trying to talk to someone who's trying to avoid looking at you.
Okay.
Because you are, appearing to be of a status too high to talk to them.
Absolutely.
That kid, Plumber pulls that kid aside, makes, yeah, Plumber pulls that kid aside.
Did someone get that?
Can you guys hear me?
We can barely hear you. We keep hearing Playman pulls the kid aside and then it cuts out.
Oh God, yeah. Obviously, you pull a kid aside to a dark alley and no one's getting in.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now, yeah. Apparently we hear you every time you ask us can we hear you, but not when you're trying to say something.
Hello.
Unless, of course, he can't hear us at all if we just keep asking, can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
There's a good chance he can't hear us either. Can you hear us, David?
Well, let's say he's pulling the kid aside and asking him to lead us in the direction of the other.
Can you guys hear me?
We can hear you sometimes, David. Though there is a lot of breaking up on your end.
Oh, God damn it. Give that kid a hot dog point.
I believe you've just gone through that dark point where you keep saying you don't get any reception.
Yeah, I can't.
Okay, so with the help of the kid and Playman, you find...
Just in case this goes through, I pull the kid aside and discreetly give him a gold coin.
Okay.
Generous.
We finally got the rest of that sentence. So, the kid is quite happy with
He
his
said
treasure.
coin, didn't he? Not shower.
Yes, he did say coin, not a shower.
Wow.
Though, if it was next Wednesday's game, it might have been the other way around. Okay, so you managed to find...
Jeremy, what the fuck?
You find yourself into the worst slum of the Artisans' Quarter in front of an ancient temple. Its crumbling stone walls laced with cracks, its wooden doors and window sills reduced to rotten timber. Two filthy teenage beggars slump against the wall near the entrance, staring impassively.
Did the beggar child just give directions, or did he show us the way?
He showed you the way.
Can we ask him any questions on the way about what the beggar king is like?
Big,
Okay.
hairy.
Cool. Okay. We've got a description, a foolproof description now. So if we lose the kid, we'll be able to find the beggar king.
So, with the help of the kid, you enter the building. You pass between two granite pillars, each nearly 20 feet high, riddled with chips and cracks. Beyond the pillar stretches the main hall, 150 feet long and 100 feet wide, quite a large space. An overpowering stench comes from a pile of decaying garbage heaped against the walls. Refuse also litters the tiled floor, its once glossy surface now matted with scuffs and scratches. Sloppily rendered frescoes with flaking paint cover the walls and ceiling. The fresco shows an immense fat man in various poses towering over tiny beggars dressed in rags. Two crude wooden thrones painted orange and purple stand against the far wall. Behind the throne are a pair of large doors. An immensely overweight man sits in the right throne, his huge belly hanging nearly to his knees. He wears a billowing robe of coarse burlap and drinks yellowish liquid from a chipped glass face. About a dozen wiry beggars surround his throne. So, just for those of you who can see, that is what he looks like.
The kid lied. I'm not seeing much hair on him.
He does have a beard. And on the left throne sits a dirty woman with short brown hair. She wears a sari, a long piece of cloth wrapped around the body like a dress. Most of the women wear one made of silk, but this one is made of brown burlap. Tarnished brass bracelets jangle on her arms and legs. A half dozen beggars surround her. One of them stands behind her, rigorously massaging her scalp. She moans loudly as the beggar massages her. It's difficult to tell if she's moaning from pain or pleasure. Reminded me of some movies I have watched. As an example, if you ever watch Blood Rain, they have a pleasure scene and a torture scene that sound identical.
Yep.
So, the Beggar King barks to you, "Step forward! If you wish an audience, then do as I say."
Yeah. He's happy to go forward, although he's happy that Plarman, who's the one that led us here, should be the one making discussions. Although it might be more challenging right now with David.
Might be a bit more challenging with his reception issues, but it would be interesting. He looks you all up and down as you step forward.
I understand you're the Burger King.
He says, "Quiet, let me have a look at you," he says, as you're trying to ask a question. He snaps his fingers and one of his attendants produces a fragment from a broken mirror. The king smiles as he admires his reflection, stroking his many chins and brushing flakes of filth from his hair. "A more handsome man you've never seen, am I right?" he asks. And then bursts into laughter.
Oh, okay. So he's in on the joke, but he's got to make it first.
So he looks at you and says, "So, what are your names and homelands?"
No!
Africa.
The ocean is my homeland.
Your name is No, and you're from Africa, he says, looking a bit perplexed.
Yeah.
And that's somewhere in the ocean? And your all name's No?
No, I'm from Africa. He's from the ocean. I know.
And my name is simply...
We've travelled far to meet you, Your Majesty.
He says, "Any of you doctors?" The girl next to the king says, "I'm not feeling well today."
Yes, I'm a doctor.
And the king says, "Shut up, there's nothing wrong with you. You're just sick in the head."
There'll be something wrong with her after the doctor sees her.
He says, "What's your business? Looking for work? I'm not hiring right now." No.
Well, we heard rumours of your august presence and wish to witness for ourselves.
Your corpulence and amazement.
Of course my corpulence is amazing. How many people can get this big on so little?
Well, there are certain type of allergies, right? And what happens is they cause an excess buildup of fluids in your... Was that not a serious question?
He looks at Simply Red and says, "So you must be a doctor then?"
Among other things.
"Okay, if you can cure my wife, I will grant you a boon."
So what's wrong with your wife? I'm fine.
Different wife.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
So
another life.
Well, what is wrong with your wife?
If you're a doctor, you should be able to tell me.
Alright, I would like to
I'm trying to figure out what
do some medicine shit.
Okay. That sounds rather messy.
Yep.
Medicinal shit is quite messy.
Sample somehow.
Okay, so give me a medicine roll.
I have a whole +0 on this, by the way.
I know.
We know you're a doctor.
19.
19. Looking at her. Besides probably needing maybe more food, she looks in fairly good condition.
Okay. She's malnourished. You're not feeding her enough. Probably on purpose, I would assume, from the look on your face.
He says she doesn't want to eat. She complains of pain. So what pain does she have? Obviously, you're not good enough doctor to find that out.
So she complains of pain. Alright, I'll go back. Can I have a talk to her?
Yes, you can. And she whines at you about everything.
Well, yeah, she can... With the pain, can you tell me what happens?
It hurts.
Okay, so she goes into excruciating detail about lots of different aches and pains. That sounds extremely believable to you.
You being such a good doctor and all.
And she ends up talking for more than 10 minutes straight about different pains.
Okay.
Looking at
Can
the king,
somebody roll a medicine check from Flamen, please?
And I was going to say, can I do a perception on her mental health?
Sure.
14 on the die for Plumman's medicine.
And 18 for
Yeah,
perception.
standby.
Okay, so she sounds very believable.
Dimitri's just standing back at the moment, watching proceedings, and looking at the king. Does he appear sweaty at the moment?
He does not. But by the looks of him, any form of excessive movement, such as crossing the room, may cause such things.
Yeah. Yep.
Can I press on her stomach?
Yes, you can. She complains of it hurting.
Do I feel any sort of build-up or like a solid tumory kind of thing?
Sure, give me a medicine check.
16.
No, you do not find any reason why it should hurt.
Apparently she's got a cold.
Okay.
He's got a cold.
Can I leave one hand on her stomach,
Yep.
put my other hand just on my backpack, just slide my hand in, and touch the book of Simrak? Is it Simrak?
Yep.
And I'd like to close my eyes and just ask, will you help me in this step needed to take in this journey? Will you help me? And then I want to do another perception check.
Okay. Give me another perception check.
That's a 15.
Apparently he's not as helpful this time, because he did give you a book on medicine that you were meant to study.
I've been studying it though. I thought
Teasing you.
crap. Okay, can I find anything in the book? Okay, that was smarter. Can I find anything in the book that might explain this?
Okay, you pull the book out and start going through it. So, what's everyone else doing while our halfling is doing his research?
So the king does not appear sweaty at the moment,
He does not.
but yeah. So you say that there's little that you'd want from us. But perhaps something you could do for me?
And what is that, he says.
Jump up and run around?
He laughs and says, why would I do that?
Yeah, because I love to see a manly, sweaty man.
He just shrugs and says, why would I do that? That sounds like too much work.
Just because as I said, to see such a body as yours in motion would be a sight to behold.
Okay, I shall give you a persuasion check. See if you can persuade him.
You visibly see Plumman's teeth. Sorry, you audibly hear Plumman's teeth grinding, and his hand by his blade starts twitching.
Okay, yep, okay. Dimitri being his normal persuasive self, a whole 7 with the -1.
He just laughs at you for your flowery words that have no substance behind them, he says. If you wish him to move for your entertainment, you're going to have to offer him more than just words.
Martin, is there anyone other than this fat Tubalard in this room?
There are lots of less off people besides his wife. There's probably about 20 other beggars here.
Do any of them look like they're decent fighters or a threat?
No one here actually looks like a threat.
Yeah, they're probably all going to sneak attack me for 27 D6.
Remember, you're already almost dead.
Yeah, and that just makes him already even more angrier. Alright, so I shouldn't have watched like 7 episodes of The Witcher yesterday. Plumman gets visibly angrier and angrier as he watches this unfold.
That's going well then. So, what is Willie doing while Simply Red is consulting his medical journal?
I'll provide handy advice to Simply Red. Just like a backseat driver.
Okay, so you're reading over his shoulder.
Yeah, just making suggestions, mostly useless.
Okay.
Okay. Demetrius suggesting the fact that, well, you know, we could make it worth your while to see such stature as yourself in action.
And he looks at...
A king such as yourself obviously deserves treasures to be to allow his subjects to see his vast, opulent wealth.
He looks at you with more interest when you're saying wealth and gesture. And he's looking at you rather sharply going, so what is this gesture you're offering, good sir, he says, actually being polite to you for a change.
Over my shoulder, I just yell out, why don't you give him some gold?
Yeah, okay, well, I will pull out a couple gold pieces and say, well, Your Majesty, this and more can be yours if only you can catch it.
How many are you willing to pull out?
Depends on how many you can catch.
He claps his hands and tells his beggars to catch everything you throw.
No, okay. It must be you. And I'm not planning on throwing them, I'm only planning on rolling them.
He looks at you rather suspiciously. Give me a persuasion roll.
Yep, I'm on the fire tonight for Dimitri in the talking side of the house. Total of 5.
He says, I'm onto you. You're just wanting to make me get up again, aren't you? What's this about making a king get up?
I told you that. I said the whole purpose for me was to watch such a man of such stature in motion. Having come recently across the scenes from the Millennial Empire, they talk of their Apollos and their Hectors, and they speak of such athletes in motion. I just curious. I imagine that you're what they were referring to.
He jiggles his belly a little bit and says, there you go, I'm in motion.
Amorous, can you roll a d20 for me, please?
I am happy.
18.
I am happy to stand on this end of the room, and I'll have my friend standing at the other, with you and near me in between, and I will continue to roll gold coins to my friend until you can no longer catch any more.
Apparently, he's all in for that.
I'm probably being dead, but I have no idea why you want him to run.
Because we're looking to get the sweat of the Mega King.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so, and
he stays on mission.
And during this time, it seems that Willie, with the helping Simply Red, has figured out that there's nothing in the book that the girl is apparently suffering from.
So I will ask Simply Red, do you want her to have something?
Well, I don't know whether he's testing me and being silly or whether he actually thinks there's something wrong with her.
As you see the Beggar King get up off his throne with lots of effort and creaking of throne.
Well, listen, I believe actually the setting's not quite right for such a display of manliness right at this moment. Are there any fireplaces or brazier pits or things like that around the area?
No.
Okay. Yeah. There's not nearly enough light in here to show off the physique in action and the glint of the gold as it rolls down. We would not wish for it to be missed for your side. I think that we need many candelabra, braziers, torches, bonfires even, to provide the light we need to actually come into this room.
Ambrose, roll another d20 for me, please.
10.
We're still good.
Okay,
So
so
quick, get your subjects to go and collect some wood and some flat. We'll need more light within this room.
he looks at you and says, if you think we need more light, you should go fetch more light. This is my kingdom. You don't get to tell me what to do, he says, putting his hands on his rather large hips.
I'm not
Yeah,
telling you
another
what
one,
to do.
please, Ambrose.
I'm simply giving you options as to more readily make sure that you can see the gold as it rolls past.
Are you doubting my vision, peasant, he says.
Your vision, I'm sure, is just as immaculate and spectacular as the rest of your physique.
Beggar King. Can I speak to the Beggar King?
He turns and says, yes, little morsel.
I have come to what I believe is a finding, but I need to talk to you alone.
I'm always alone, I'm the king.
I mean away from everyone else. I'd like everyone else to go away from my party so that I can talk to you alone.
Okay, there is a really loud sound of flatulence. And he says, okay then, this is a royal decree. Everyone else step outside while I talk to this young little morsel.
Another one, please, Ambrose.
17.
So, do all the mega courtiers start moving outside?
They seem to be just waiting on their king still.
Yeah. That's alright. And I kind of look at everyone else and kind of tilt my head to kind of tell them to go outside for a second.
Yeah, no, okay.
Yeah, for that one, I'm going to need another one, please.
13.
Yeah, alright, I'll go outside.
Dimitri's happy to go outside, and he'll start talking to any of the local beggars or things like that nearby, and say, holding up a handful of copper, and say, a piece for every block of wood or stick or twig that could be here within the next 10 minutes.
Okay, they rush off.
Sorry, Parliament interrupts him. Wait, no. Get a better idea. A copper for every drop of sweat you get from the king.
They look at Plumman and then rush off for the wood because that's an easier thing.
Carmen, we wouldn't be sure of the purity of the sweat if we get it from everybody else.
Plummet is pacing and not listening to you. He's getting angrier and angrier.
Okay, so
can I...
back to Emerist inside.
Yep. So I sit down next to him and I go, Beggar King, I am not flowery like Dimitri. I don't know the right things to say to the right people. So
Hey, Dimitri doesn't know the right thing either. That's why he keeps picking up.
I'm hoping he believes. Yeah.
It doesn't stop him talking.
So I'm going to talk to you plainly, and I just wish you to know in advance that I mean no offense.
Says, speak plainly.
Okay. So my name is simply Red. I was once Nasty Stump. I have been on the oceans for more than 20 years as a pirate, during which time I learnt a lot of healing, and then recently have found my following in Simarak, who has taught me, and I bring out the book with great reverence and show him, has taught me much about healing, not only the body, but the soul.
And as far as you can tell, he can't read.
That's fine. The book
But he
is
seems
impressive. That's the important bit.
It's clean.
So I put it down and I talk to him and I say, there is something wrong with her. It's not initially obvious. She complains a lot. As you said, there's some brain stuff going on. but there is a weakness of the organs. Now, I can treat it, but I need a few things from you.
He says, such as?
I need a piece of her clothing. I need some of the milk that she drinks. I need a small fire. And I need, and this is a weird one, I know, I need to have a small container of the sweat of her lord. Now, is that you, or does she serve someone else?
He laughs. My sweat? That's a strange request.
It's part of the spell. And I open it up, because, and I show some pages and pick some writing and point and see. As you can see...
Give me a roll as you try to deceive him.
19 plus whatever I add. Give me a second. Deception?
Yep.
So hang on, before you go on, Jeremy, can you roll a d20 for me, please?
Do I want high or low?
Just roll.
You're going to claim 15-20 on you, that's all. 7.
Alright. Plumman royally loses his shit and starts hitting things, including the door, and screams out in a rageful bellow of anger and fury. He doesn't come inside, though. Okay. But it is right about the same time that Simply Red is talking to it.
And apparently he says, sure, he's happy to agree to that to you, as this roar happens out the front door.
Right. So what I can do is I can make a potion, and I need you to give it to her 3 times over the next 7 days. But only
sorry to interrupt, guys. I'm going to lose reception for quite a little while.
Okay.
Probably a good thing.
So for them, it will just be pacing.
We love you! So I can make a potion, but you need to give it on the times when she feels the most low.
Okay, he agrees.
Alright, so I'd like to start getting a little bowl together and putting all the stuff together. Does he fetch the milk and the piece of clothing for me?
He gets people to do that for you.
Okay, cool. I still have a little bit of booze.
Mm-hmm.
So I take that out and I distill it out into 2 little bottles, because I've got some of the empty bottles left.
Yep.
And I say... And I hand him an empty bottle, and I say, I'm not sure the best way to ask for this, but how can I get some of your sweat?
He shrugs and says, how do you normally get it?
Do you have like a sweaty shirt we could squeeze out, or?
You can get someone to get a sweaty shirt and bring it to you.
Yep, could I ask you to do that now? Because I want to get this potion done. I'm just worried about her organs.
Okay, he tells one of his subjects to go running outside till his shirt's sweaty.
No, I need his sweat. It needs to be the sweat of his lord.
But it's my sweat. I commanded him, he says.
Unfortunately, it needs to be from your physical self, or it won't work.
Well, then how am I supposed to get that sweat, he says, looking at you rather directly.
Do you have a fire you could stand near for a little while? Does not need to be much sweat, just enough for the potion.
He sighs.
More smashing and roaring.
And he paces up and down a little bit until he gives you a couple of drops of sweat.
That's perfect. Alright. So I turn away from him. Oh, are you talking? Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I think your video froze for a bit because it looked like you were talking continuously.
Amherst,
Yep.
do Simply Red remember the purpose of the sweat of the Beggar King?
No one slightest.
We're supposed to be using the sweat to clean the surface prior to the inscription being laid down. We're not entirely certain how big the surface is, but the implication was that it was the sorts of things that people walk around doing, making the image.
So I need a little bit more.
Well,
I turn back and I look at him with my most sincere face and say, I'm so sorry, my king, but I need a bit more.
Okay, he puts in another 2 drops.
You as you mentioned to him already, you said she's got to be able to drink it at least 3 times a week for the next however long. So
I sit there and I pull out a piece of paper and I do calculations,
Yep.
and I say to him, I need exactly that much again.
He sighs and puts a rag down his pants and then drips it into the your container for you.
That would fill it up a lot, I would assume.
And you've got about maybe equivalent of 10 drops.
Yeah, cool. So I go, thank you, and I'm so sorry for the inconvenience. And I turn back, and I don't actually put it in the mixture. I just kind of put the little bottle next to it and put everything else in. Does that make sense?
Yep.
And then I pack everything back into my bag, including that. And then I light a fire underneath, and I mix the mixture together.
Mm-hmm.
And then I put it into the 2 bottles that are semi-full of booze that I have.
Yep.
And I said, I put these with a weak wine so that it'll be easier to go down. But if you can give her 3 days over the next 7 from these 2 bottles, and she will begin to improve.
Okay. Then I will give you a boon once those days have passed.
I am more than happy for that. Again, the boon is not as important as knowing that I can help. I lost my way for a long time, and Simrak helped me find my way back.
Then if you wish to see me again, come back in 7 days when your work will have succeeded.
Thank you so much. Would you like me to leave you now? I can go and take my party members away, or what would you like to
He
do?
sends you on your way.
Fair enough. Thank you so much for your time. I bow. And I walk out.
Okay.
And when I see Dimitri, I just look at him and kind of nod and then gesture that we should leave.
Wow. So I'm assuming that probably took about the 10 minutes or so. I'm assuming we're getting a few people coming back with logs and bits of wood and stuff.
You do, yes.
So, hang on. I promised the king the opportunity to earn the gold so I could watch the athlete in motion.
Fair enough. So I'll lean close to him and go, I have the sweat. And then go, that's fine. I'm going to go back to our packs.
So you head back to the apothecary, taking Playman with you?
Yep.
Okay, so does...
Yeah, that's a good idea.
And it's all right, he'll take you by an apple seller.
What about the cabbage seller?
Just so you know, if Flamin had lost his temper in front of him, he was going to start slapping his ass with the glaive and getting him to run.
Okay, so apparently Playman has a good time getting back to the apothecary. And you... and Dimitri is left with lots of wood.
Yep. And he's really happy to... he's still around?
Yeah, I'll follow along.
To get some more sweat. So yes, okay. So
is 10 or 12 drops enough?
You do not know.
Dimitri wouldn't think so. As I say, we got the impression you're trying to clean the floor of the temple or something in order to draw this on. He's thinking we need, if not gallons, at least
no, because if you dip a cloth into
bottles
it,
full.
if you dip a cloth into it, you could wipe a surface.
But hey, so Dimitri's also just keen to see if he can make this happen now.
Yeah, good luck.
So
I
do we
have it, and I'm safely
where do we
away.
need to get this sweat from?
Off the beggar king.
So it all has to come from the beggar king.
Yeah, but I've gotten 10 drops.
Yep.
And
Do you tell Flamin that you need more sweat from the beggar king?
I tell him that I don't know if we can get it, but that Dimitri's going to try.
Dimitri comes back in as Simply Red starts coming out again, and encourages the king. Say, well, yes, I'm just setting up for this opportunity. where you can display your prowess and gain all these coins.
Okay, so he is happy to try your competition.
So basically you'll aim to set up 2 lines of the wood and or like multiple fires or things like that, depending on how much wood's actually there, down the length of the hallway. So nice, you said it was a nice stone type thing, so
It is.
you can clear away, so it's not going to burn stuff. And set them about probably 20 feet apart or something like that.
Yep. That's the cleanest this place has looked in years.
Yep. And then, as I say, I'll tell Billy to go down one end, and I'll be up the other end, and okay. Dimitri will aim to roll gold coins down the passageway between the fires, and encourage the king to catch as many as he can, and when he can no longer catch coins, that's when I'll stop throwing.
Okay. So, are you going to try to throw them past him?
So, initial ones will be, he'll actually be aiming to roll it quickly. So he's got to bend over and off to the be wide of him and things like that to make him move around, or chase them down the passageway. So is the intent.
Okay.
So he's certainly not making it easy for him necessarily, but he's also not making it he's making it far from impossible.
Being the greedy man he is, he's quite happy to chase a rolling gold coin. So you get visions you wish you'd never seen as he undulates following the coin down the hallway. And as he does so, you also do not know how fresh the sweat from the Beggar King needs to be to complete your ritual.
No. But hopefully if we can get enough to actually fill a potion bottle type stuff, then it can be stoppered and should remain reasonably so. And so, particularly if the first couple of coins actually get down and he misses them and Willie gets them, Dimitri, hey Willie, give him another try. Roll him back again.
Okay.
I mean, I can play some music and maybe get him dancing.
Well,
that is the kind of thing that I should be doing.
Well, you play some music to encourage him to move faster.
Yeah, you play Eye the Tiger.
Oh, I was thinking more Benny Hill. But yes, after about 2 or 3 coins, which he doesn't seem to be able to catch because he is that slow and ponderous, he is sweating quite profusely.
So yes, use your wit to distract, confuse, and otherwise sap the confidence and competence of others. When a creature that you can see within 60 feet of you makes an attack roll, an ability check, or a damage roll, you can use your reaction to expend one of your uses of bardic inspiration, and subtract the number rolled from the creature's roll. Anyway, yeah.
So like I say, we'll keep rolling a few of them until I'm guessing it probably doesn't take too long for him to collapse on the floor as the.
After chasing 2 coins, he's that bad.
Okay, so still coated in sweat.
Yep.
So, well, Your Majesty, it was a spectacular example to watch. But now, an athlete like yourself obviously deserves to be treated like the Olympians of Millennium. And after their endeavours, they obviously go through their ritual recoveries there afterwards. And as such, we should cleanse your body by scraping away all the dust and grime that's come through. And we can recover that and therefore leave you fresh and vigorous and looking forward to the opportunity to gain more gold as we go down.
He looks at you and says, "Your friend just tried to convince me to give him sweat, which he didn't put into the vials. So if you give me 10 gold, you can have all the sweat you want."
Well, I was certainly planning on using nothing but the best to scrape the sweat off. With the gold coins themselves.
So you're going to give him the 10 gold?
I have no problem giving him 10 gold.
And he says you can scrape as much sweat off him as you wish.
Okay.
You manage to fill a potion bottle full of very smelly, sweaty fluid.
Yep, and I sure as hell don't want those gold coins anymore.
And
they're probably a bit tarnished now, but hey, that's not my problem.
and afterwards, the undulating movements of the Beggar King actually are a pleasant memory compared to the gaining the sweat of the Beggar King.
The things Dimitri's willing to do. Just to save the world.
So yes, as you step outside, you see that Playman has come back with Simply Red because he thought he would help you with the gathering more sweat.
Says, that's right. I think we got enough. So.
And you return to the apothecary, having spent.
For the record, I tried really hard.
Oh, you're doing fantastically, except for the fact that he wasn't sweating that hard.
So. Dimitri made him work for it. Then he has to work for it too.
And just so you know, if you had have given the Queen a massage, you could have gotten him to do it for free. Or if you had done a homotherapy sort of poking that was enjoyable to her, as long as it was a pleasant experience, you also...
Oh, the noises, yep.
Yep.
Well, yes, I suspect actually that Dimitri's plan might have been to offer her a spectacular magic or therapeutic stones of the East, hematite stones that will weather around your wrist and will maintain and keep the humours and rhythms of the body acting in appropriate flow at all times.
Oh, she would have loved that.
But that's right, that would involve giving up the bracelet. That's not something to me. 10 gold, you go, okay, it's a bracelet, oh!
Okay, so yes, you have gotten yourself a vial full of Beggar King sweat that you can guarantee came from a Beggar King.
That's right, and it's bloody fresh at the moment.
And it cost you 10 gold.
So,
I give my bottle to Dimitri.
cool. And then, yeah, we'll get there and find, yep, okay, just a touch, a drop of Beggar sweat. No! That's all we needed, just a drop.
So yes, you return to the apothecary, and you now have 2 of your 3 ingredients. You have a 10 little fangs.
Yep.
You have your flask and 10 drops of Beggar King sweat. That 10 drops are definitely important, I'm sure.
Yep.
Thank you.
You worked hard for them.
And yeah, so now we want to try and find a particular person who knows how to draw the image.
Amavarati is who you're looking for.
A variety, yep.
Amavarati.
Does our local yogi know where this variety is?
Yes, he says everyone in town knows where she is. She can be found in the leper colony just outside the city. As she tenders to the lepers.
Uh-huh. And do we have to bring him somewhere to do the what's required with drawing this image?
You need to know what image to draw, and that's the person who can tell you.
Yeah, no, but I mean, do we have to draw at a particular location? Where do we have to get them to? Or can they draw it on a piece of paper and...
They've just got to provide you the image, and then Chatterjee can actually perform the ceremony.
Okay, so Chatterjee's able to actually draw it. He just needs to know what to draw.
Yep.
Okay. So, yeah, I guess we go and look out for Rocky. So, leper colony, huh?
And I'm sure that the Bancharter's disease will not affect you too greatly. He says it's supposed to not affect the pure of heart.
And
Not that he believes such, but that is the medical opinion of the doctors of the town.
And this disease being the reason that we have the colony of lepers in the first place.
He says yes.
All the members of this colony have this disease.
Every member who is not tending to the sick has this disease.
And those tending, they're pure of heart enough they do not get the disease normally? Is that the situation?
He does not believe so, but he is loath to contradict the doctors of the town, because he says that's what they state. He himself has not been there.
Sure.
Thank you.
Okay. Well, if we know where to go or who to talk to find it, I'm guessing we might as well keep things happening at the moment.
He says it's not as if you have to wait for time to pass, because
we're not waiting for morning or anything like that, I'm guessing.
He looks at you confused. What's
exactly?
He says that they don't have a rest period in the beggar colony, in the leper colony, I should say.
Well, that means that that variety may be there, or at least may be active at the present time. So we shall start heading, I guess, back out to this leper colony.
Okay. It's very easy to find. Just about everyone can point you to where the leper colony is. Because
or at least point away from it.
Because that's the place where they're all told they'll end up if they're not a good boy. They say only bad people go there. And the few priests you run into say the disease drives victims crazy and makes them very violent. If one of them so much as breathes on you, you become infected too, he says.
And have you heard of this Ambrati?
There's yes, they are obviously a carrier of the disease, even though it doesn't affect them. So be careful talking to them too. Why else would they stay in a colony and tend to the so afflicted?
Why indeed?
Okay, so you have no problems reaching the place. As you're travelling there, it's not that far from town, a couple of miles. But as you're travelling there, you come across two sisters. You can tell they're sisters because they look pretty similar. And they are struggling pulling a cart which seems to have a man-sized object completely wrapped in white cloth on the cart itself. And they both look to be about 60 years old.
kind of making why they're struggling to pull it then. Old women are supposed to be able to carry 10 times their weight on their back, aren't they?
Well, it's not on their back. It's in a cart.
So,
Can we stop and ask who's on the cart?
okay. Dimitri wasn't planning on stopping. He was going to walk straight along and go past, but
Okay, so apparently Simply Red has compassion and walks off to the side. And as you walk over to them, she says, on the cart is their sister, who died this morning.
How did she die?
She died from a illness that she does not understand. But she had been sick for more than a week.
Right, but it wasn't leprosy?
She says, she does not know. How do you know if someone has leprosy, she says.
That's a good point. Where are you taking the cart?
I would like to take it to a field we used to play in as children.
How far is it from here?
A long way for me to go. It'll probably take me many hours to pull the cart there with my other sister.
And if I was to assist?
Well, you look a little smaller. Are you really that strong that you think you can pull this cart of ours after our
I
horse
really
is
am.
Okay, so do you grab the cart and pull it?
I do.
It's very easy to pull.
Oh, there you go.
So while they've been struggling with the cart, they have a penalty to their strengths.
Right.
I'm being 6-year-old, not fine.
So but between the two of them, they get a -2 to their strength check to work together.
Ah, fair enough. Yeah, well, I'd like to help them and take it to wherever they needed to go.
Okay, so what does everyone else do as Simply Red starts heading off to the side?
Dimitri, overhearing the conversation as he pretended to ignore completely and move on. So, okay. I guess the sun's not going to stop shining.
Okay. So she says that the disease that killed her sister was a vicious disease that attacked the body by twisting it into grotesque shapes. Says most people who get it become blind or crippled. Others lose all feeling in their skin. But it's not normally fatal. Do you ask her any questions?
And so how long was your sister infected?
She had the conditions that for about 40 years.
Okay, so and you were able to care for her in that time?
Yes, she has she and her other sister has cared for their dead sister their entire life.
Has she been immobile for the last 40 years?
No, just for
bedridden?
Bedridden for the last week. Unfortunately, where she's forced to live, the conditions aren't great, so catching other illnesses is quite easy.
So, in fact, yes, the disease itself is not necessarily a problem.
She knows no healthy person who has ever contracted the disease.
Ah. We were on our way to actually the colony I believe you were coming from. Looking for a man named Vrati.
She says that's a common mistake. It's actually a woman. Everyone thinks of her as a man because she's in charge.
Yeah.
And how could a woman know more than a man?
Apologies to the lady then. Okay, all the descriptions we've been told was a fine gentleman.
That's because
Depending upon who you ask.
yeah, most men don't believe that a woman would know more than they would. She says.
Understandable. We're talking Dimitri here.
I just grunt and say common mistake.
She looks at you and says, "Oh, so you're like one of those learned priests from the city." Then she says, "You'd know all about the disease and how long it's been affecting people." I
have spent my life gaining wisdom in many things.
Then you
knowledge in all its forms is always of value.
Then you would know more about this disease than I would.
Well, as I say, I was curious to find out what the stories of the disease as told in the city paint a very different picture to the one that you're describing.
Well, that's because they're all the learned people who refer to books and not actual facts. A book is only as true as the person who writes it, she says.
Indeed, absolutely. And one must also always temper the knowledge gained from books with that gained from real life and understanding of the value of the written word. So some written words are not worth the value, not worth the paper they're written on.
Most people who go to the leper colony end up dead because of the conditions of the colony, not because of any disease they may have, she says. The illnesses they die from is not the Fastra's disease, she says. She does not know anyone who's actually died of the disease, and she's buried many over the last 40 odd years.
Perhaps there'll be an opportunity to provide some assistance to the colony.
She says that would be good, except that learned folk like yourself try to tell us how to do it better and then walk off. So,
well, if you're unable to listen to the instructions, well,
she just looks at you and says, "Listening is one thing. Actually, following them is something else."
Indeed, always a problem.
If we do not have the capacity to follow said instructions, listening to said instructions does not help.
It's funny how it works that way.
Yes. It's sort of like explaining to a normal person how to fly when throwing them off a cliff. I'm sure the explanation would be fascinating as they plummet to their death.
Well, there are some things you've got to learn very quickly.
Most people don't learn, she says. She knows she's tried.
People rarely learn. People are rarely willing to put the effort in to learn and listen to instruction.
Okay, so you reach a valley filled with violets and surrounded by small cherry trees. And she says her name is Lydra, and her sister is Clara. And they basically lay their other sister, Orishi, in the middle of the valley and light a small pyre for her. As the pyre burns, Lydra bows and says, "An afterlife of peace will be hers," she says, as she says a small prayer to the burning body.
Dimitri notices the others are okay. Time to head to the colony and tell them how it should be done.
I spent a few minutes with my head down in politeness.
Mm-hmm.
I turned to the two sisters, ask if they need anything else.
They said no, they're going to return to the city and see what else they can do for those in the leper colony in honor of their sister.
I bow to them and then suggest we go on our way.
Okay. You start heading to the colony. You see a dirt patch ends in a rock wall hundreds of yards long and nearly 20 feet high. The wall is covered with ornate carvings of multi-armed female with ebony skin, tusk-like teeth, and a fierce expression. And you see a rickety wooden gate as the only passage through the wall. The gate is open and there are no guards.
Well, we'll keep walking up to the gate and at least have a look through.
As you reach the gate, you're hit by a reek of disease and death as the smell of raw sewage hits you in the face.
Mm.
Can't be any worse than Burger King.
Actually, it comes across a lot worse than the Burger King, because as you step in, you see that this place is basically the worst slum housing you've ever seen. Where people basically are sent to die.
Does anyone pay attention to our entry?
Some people glance in your direction, but no one seems to care to get up, move, or acknowledge you at all. And
Can I just take a seat near the entrance and have a read in my book about anything about leprosy?
You can. You start reading through the book. And partway through the book, you come across a section that talks about interbreeding between family lines of too close to family line can cause birth defects, which starts to describe some of the things you're seeing in the leper colony. And the rest of you can hear the sound of excavation.
Okay. So the entry after waiting a couple of minutes while Simba read through his book, and I don't think Ambrati's going to be in there. Greetings, good folk. We are looking for a Miss Ambrati.
Most of them just point up the hill.
Okay.
The ones that seem to be able to move. Most of them are twisted and grotesque looking.
Come on, let's go. And Dimitri will start walking in the direction they pointed.
Okay, so as you're walking in that direction, you come across what appears to be hundreds of relatively healthy-looking residents wielding crude pickaxes and shovels, excavating a rocky hillside. Seems to have some sort of temple buried beneath the rock.
I understand good outdoor work is healthy and good for the circulation. Yeah, good to see. Obviously, they're using modern medical practices. Does it look like they're actually digging to any purpose?
Yes, you can see what appears to be a breathtakingly beautiful alabaster walls inlaid with silver mirrors and marble panels, with tiny multicolored stone statuettes of humans and animals lying terraced ivory platforms. So
and this man being dug out of the mountain.
This is something that may have been covered by a landslide or
Right, okay.
something many centuries ago.
Okay, yeah. So they're not actually carving or doing anything at the time, they're just
Digging it
out. Yep, okay.
And
Yeah.
and most of them appear to be saying prayers as they dig.
Dimitri will show interest in the walls and the carvings, whatever, on the walls and things like that, and ask one of the nearby, saying, "So, why has this been covered for all these years? What is it?"
We don't know, but if we restore the temple, perhaps the gods will take pity on us and end our suffering.
Do you know? Has it been determined who the temple is dedicated to? Maybe there's a reason it was buried.
They believe it was dedicated to Tajalor.
Plus,
The maimed god, he says.
say 17 on religion.
It does not ring a bell to you.
Okay.
As far as you know, there is no god known as the maimed one.
Well, but it's also the fact that that these guys have got umpteen thousand of them already that I've talking about. So, but do you know why the temple was here or how it got buried?
They do not know. It existed before the colony.
So,
Now that the colony has found it, we are hoping to get our life back.
well, it certainly appears to be a worthy work of art recovering, if nothing else.
And as you're watching, you hear the sound of a rock slide nearby, and some screams for help.
Did Simply Red hear that?
Yes, he did.
He would jump to his feet and run.
Okay, as you run around the side of the temple.
Dimitri will move. He said he won't run.
Just a suitable trot.
You see a worker buried in rocks from the waist down, his face wrenched in agony.
I will start on digging him out.
Okay. You start digging him out, and you hear one of the workers says, yeah, let the strangers do it. He says, I'm sure they're not afraid. Basically, looking at you as you start digging the guy out who's bleeding into the rocks around him.
Mm-hmm. So my assumption is that they're trying to imply that he might be a leper himself.
You think he's testing to see if you're willing to touch the.
I honestly don't give a shit. He needs help, I'm going to give it. If I get leprosy, then it's just another thing in my journey. I don't care. I need to help people. This is why I'm here. This is why I'm still here. And I'm not going to shy away from it.
Okay. So yes, you watch as Simply Red digs the guy out.
As I say, and it doesn't take long at all to get it out. Like, it's not going to be difficult.
It's not that difficult. He's actually quite strong.
No, but Dimitri was planning on going up, standing nearby, and just carefully directing a thunder wave off one side to clear one side of him with rocks. And then, if it's not there,
Dimitri, could you, Dimitri, can you prepare some bandages for me and just place them on the ground?
Do you want magical assistance so you're less likely to catch leprosy?
Look, honestly, I'm ignoring any comments people make about trying to be careful. I just want to do the right thing here. So I just ask for the bandages. I go, look, if you want to heal him and you can do it from a distance, please do so.
Well, I say, according to the old woman, the disease is not contagious anyway. Other diseases collected might be, but the specific one isn't.
Okay, so yes, you dig him out and give me a medicine roll. For Emerson.
Oh my god, it is a natural 20 with a -1.
Okay, so you get a critical success. You actually patch him up quite well. You stop his bleeding, you reset his bone, and you actually make him feel better about himself and his lot in life.
Yay.
And the guy who challenged you earlier says you are as compassionate as you are courageous. And he says your presence honors us. And he says perhaps we will meet again, offering his name as Brashu.
Bless you.
And
Before you go,
says,
you happen to know we were looking for a Miss Amvarati?
he points to a opening in a cliffside not too far from where you are. He says she can be found in there.
And is there somewhere I can wash myself, Martin?
No.
I'd like to go back to where I left my pack and the book outside and just grab one of my water canteens and wash my hands.
You don't grab the bottle of liquid, the little potion bottle?
No. I've given that to Dimitri, remember?
So yes, you do wash your hands.
Cool. Have I got any open wounds or anything on my hands?
You do not.
Cool. Then I'm happy.
Okay. So yes, you pick up your stuff and catch up with Dimitri and get the scent of cinnamon coming from the cave as you reach the cave itself. And you see several mats made from string cover the floor of the cave, and the walls are lined with wooden shelves filled with clay pots and dishes. The pottery contains a variety of colourful herbs and powders. Against the far wall of the cave appears to be a withered old man wearing nothing but a white cloth bending over a moaning boy resting on the mats. It's then that you notice that the old man really is an old lady, just that she's old enough that it's very hard to tell.
Can we see what's wrong with the boy?
Okay, give me a medicine roll.
14.
14. He appears to have a badly twisted arm. That appears to be a birth defect.
Right. From my knowledge from reading through the book and skipping and stuff, do I know any magical stuff for birth defects?
No, but you do believe that the family members should not procreate together.
Right. Fair enough.
Which is basically roughly what the book said to you.
Yeah. I perhaps don't voice that.
Okay, so yes, he turns and greets you and says, the boy is resting now. He, she sounds very old and raspy. And says, my name is Amvarati, and I welcome you to my home. I am the caretaker of this place. I seldom encounter visitors from the outer world, she says.
Outer world?
The world with the yellow sun, she says.
How,
I'm not surprised you rarely encounter them. I'm surprised you've encountered any. When was the last time you had such an encounter?
Probably more than half a century ago, she says.
That makes more sense, yes.
How poor does the hut look?
Well, considering it's in a cave, and it looks like it's been hand carved.
Yeah, okay. I'm pretty sure I'm carrying about 50 gold on me.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to just give that to her.
She thanks you, but she saw that there are more in the colony who could use money more than she can.
Yeah, I asked her, like I said, you can use it for yourself or for others, I don't mind, but as the caretaker, I figured you'd be the best person to distribute.
She thanks you for your generosity.
And then I'll go and sit down.
And she explains to you that the child has no feeling in his skin, so he managed to burn himself on a fire recently because he cannot feel the flames.
Is that a common symptom of the disease?
She says it's one of the symptoms of the disease, as is the twisted arm birth defect. She says, why are you here besides to be generous with coin from another world?
We were sent to see you by the wise man Cassidy.
Oh, the one who they say is too holy to be true.
Again, I've heard different descriptions of the gentleman. Certainly he's unique.
He seems more intelligent than most.
But yes, he explained that we need to produce a what was the word they used? Yatra. The Yatra of the Emerald River.
She just looks at you, rubs her jaw, and shakes her head. So if you wish to gain such knowledge, you have to convince me why you deserve such secrets. Tell me of yourself and where you come from.
You mentioned that you've already discerned the fact that we've come from the outer world. In fact, we've come from the outer world chasing other residents of the outer world that apparently might have been have come under the influence of dark powers that seemingly are out to destroy both this world and the outer one.
Dark powers are always trying to destroy the world. What makes this one any different?
Well, did you notice recently that the sun had gone red at periods of time?
She says, well, considering it's red normally, it did go orange a few times.
Okay, whichever way looking so.
All good. I just corrected you there.
You may have noticed variations in the sun in recent months.
She says, yes, she did, and she did see a explosion in the sky recently as the sun stopped changing color.
Indeed.
Sorry.
Well, no, the explosion in the sky was us removing one of the influences that had come through from these dark powers.
She pats Simply Red on the head and says, well, if you can do that from the ground, you are indeed mighty in your aim, she says.
Yeah.
Was the explosion the one where I got burnt, or is that a different one?
No, that's a different one. The one where you got burnt was where we headed towards the sun, but it was somewhat before we got to the sun. It was not actually a part of us getting to the sun.
Yeah.
But you did blow up a temple. It was amazing.
It was, in fact, at the same time that others went to the sun in their spiritual form.
Okay, so you spend about an hour talking with her about things.
Yep, okay, explaining the situation and if she's actually appears knowledgeable and understanding of the world, particularly the outer world and things like that, Dimitri's more willing to give more detailed information and explanation exactly as to the threat that's being faced, and that the manner in which it can be eliminated.
And so you end up having a big discussion about politics, the land you come from, and your own beliefs.
Dimitri's happy to actually talk to someone who's apparently got some sense.
And she apparently knows a lot about Karameikos.
And doesn't need to talk to the diamond to do it.
She does know of Troldara from before it was conquered. As she had been through those lands before the Thiatans took over.
You appear to be have experience beyond your apparent years.
She looks at you and says, I'm sure I look my 80 odd years. It's been 50 years since I've come down here.
Ah. Which is why you say that it's been 50 years since you saw people from the Yellow Sun.
Yeah. And your
It's all
dress
become much more clear now.
And your dress is of that of the outside world, not of the inner world.
So, so Dimitri's certainly interested then as to exactly where she's come from in the known world and things like that, and where she's been and bits and pieces.
She grew up in the borders between the Five Shires and Karameikos. Before it was Karameikos. So she knew the halflings well.
So, hasn't it been Karameikos for...
Yes, so for her it was the tribes of the Troldara.
So just a question.
I see what you're saying. So the fact that, yes. So, yes. She's apparently about 80 years... She thinks she's about 80 years old now, and has spent about 50 years down here, in that she was about 30 when she left. But when she left was actually some thousands of years ago.
No, it was the Troldara were conquered about roughly 70 to 100 years ago.
Yeah, okay, yeah. So, Troldara had been conquered by Karameikos, not the original Troldaran being pushed out by the gnolls. Yeah.
Not those ones, no.
Yeah, okay. But, okay, yeah, so... Oh, yeah, because Steve in Karameikos is actually the original... Isn't he? Yeah, that's right. It's not like he's not a hereditary in that sort of way. Yep.
Not yet. He's working.
Yeah. Okay. So, well, yes. In which case, then Dimitri will wax lyrical about how much worse Karameikos and Troldara is now under the oppressive rule of Thiatans.
Yes, she says that the Thiatans seem to like their rules and bureaucracy and organisation far too much. And after talking with her for a while, she agrees to show you the diagram.
So, in that sense, then Dimitri will also be coming around to the fact that yes, looking around here. What do these people really need?
She thinks a bit. They probably need better food, better sanitation, support services.
If there was money available, would such services be accessible?
Depends on if you could actually convince someone to do so. If money was available, a lot of services can be made available.
Yes. Well, as I say, I'm suggesting that money can certainly be available.
Many are motivated by money, she says.
How much money would make a difference?
Any money makes a difference. The smallest twig can start an avalanche, she says.
I gave 50.
So,
Dimitri, you don't want to be beaten by me.
I think he's counting up how much he's going to give.
Yeah, I know.
so, well, no,
And
no,
I believe he's carrying a lot of money for all of us, so I'm pretty sure he's dipping into my share.
well, no. Dimitri's carrying a lot of money, but it's not from you guys, it's from previous Dimitri. So,
Most of them died.
had nothing to do with Dimitri.
It feels like
He was just left holding the sacks.
who would take a movement penalty so that he can carry more money.
Well, no, he wouldn't do that.
They put him in bags
That's
of
why he's
holding.
got 2 bags of holding. The under North circumstances anyway. Well, the I have concerns that they say the money can be made available, but if the opportunity to use it is viable, I'm concerned that looking in the town of what was it, Japur or something. I suspect one would have to be careful as to exactly how one would distribute money in such a town in order to get the services one truly needs.
She has trusted people she can talk to.
Very good.
She spends what little she has wisely.
Well, hopefully you can make some use of this then. And Dimitri will pull out a couple pouches of, make it 500 gold.
Okay.
So. In fact, make it 700. Make it easier. Makes it easier to take off my figure. Less calculation.
Less to worry about. Okay, she is humbled by your offer of.
It's marvellous to see someone, a true Saldaran who's been untainted by the Thiatan image,
and
or
then
Thiatan influence.
she spends about half an hour drawing the diagram for you
Okay.
and teaching it to you.
And to clarify, that's a really expensive picture.
Dimitri will certainly offer some pen and paper to actually make the drawing more easy to transport. So,
She recommends that it is memorized and not actually written down. It's too dangerous to be used by someone else. Knowledge,
well,
that the knowledge has been sought by many, and it is too dangerous to be written down, she says.
now we okay.
She's happy to teach
Whilst I
you
certainly have a skillful and steady hand, I'm not certain that I am trained as well as one should be for scribing such symbolism. I'm used to scribing in a different format.
She's happy to teach you until you can perform it, but she does not wish it to be written down for the safety of the actual realm, she says.
We were actually originally expecting or planning that Cassidy would be the one to actually produce the symbol. Would it be better if we try and bring you to him, or bring him here, or say to learn directly from yourself?
She says it's your task to draw the symbol.
Okay. Well, in that case, Dimitri can be. Whilst Dimitri was pretending humility about his inability to do it, let's say he's confident. Hey, he can scribe, he can do that, no problem.
And apparently, this has a lot of history. And he's basically
Dimitri's certainly keen on hearing about the history and the processes and things like that.
and that it's basically passed down from master to master.
Right, you're passing it on to the right person then.
And the followers of Entropic Immortals have been seeking this for over 500 years.
Well, there's certainly. I can understand their desire to have it, but we shall certainly be not only keeping it out of their hands, but using it to destroy their plans.
And so once she is confirmed that Dimitri can repeat it 3 times in a row without getting it wrong, she says you've learnt it sufficiently enough for your task.
So say if it was an intelligence check or something to memorise, so 21 on my roll, so I think you picked it up first time, no problem, and repeated it, no problem. You could do it left-handed if you wanted to.
And so yes, while a complicated thing, it does have a flow to it, and you also think that it's not just the pattern itself; it's the way it's drawn.
Does the obviously you've got to draw it in the correct order of the lines rather than just drawing it from the top to the bottom or anything like that. So, yeah. Does the symbolism or anything like that actually ring any bells for Dimitri from his previous studies or information?
It basically is about portals and linking of elements. Basically, from what Dimitri knows, it's very similar to a teleportation circle.
Which is an interesting concept in the Hollow World.
Especially considering they're not supposed to work here.
Exactly, that's what I mean.
Which makes you think that whoever puts that rule in there probably has a lot of clauses. If you learn the clause, you can break the rule. Okay, so yes, you have managed to gather all 3 elements tonight. But I am starting to flag at this stage, so I'm thinking that we will pick it up in a fortnight with you actually conducting the ceremony itself.
Yes. Yeah, I'm trying to remember. I took all components. That's right, because it was Dimitri had dreams of Chatterjee telling him about to meet him and things like that. That meant that we were then. Because yes, I'm just trying to remember exactly what the diagram was actually aiming for in the end. I'll have to look through my notes over the week. So.
That's all good, and I may even be able to refresh what you remember as your characters rest.
Yeah.
So,
okay, well, have a good night all. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, guys. I'm going to head off because I am starting to fall asleep myself while running things.
Yep.
That's fine.
But
thanks, guys. Sorry I was pretty absent tonight.
Well, that's okay. I was a bit tired myself, but at least we managed to get the you got the snakes, which you successfully caught. Plyman with his arm. Yep. You managed to get the.
He used effective bait.
Plyman almost managed to get the Beggar King to sweat in his own right with his raging. I'm sure it would have taken much.
That's right, yeah. The physical heat coming off his brow.
And I'm sure Plyman would have had lots of humility in the leper colony as well.
Yeah, of course.
Considering these people here are doing it harder than anything you've ever seen. But they aren't giving up. So have a good night. I will see everyone again in a fortnight, and some of you earlier.
Good night all. Catch you next time.
See you later. Thanks, guys.
Good night. Good night.